we'll go for statement questions from Todd.
All right. Obviously, frustrating night. I thought our guys, competed. You got to credit Southern Illinois. Thought they made a lot of, winning plays down the stretch. Made seem like every shot, which I have to go back and look, but maybe it was every shot in the final, 4 minutes. I know, this game for us really, if you had told me before the game we would have scored 72 points, I would have thought we had a pretty good chance. But I don't know that they've given up 70 in the league this year. They're the best defensive team in the league, and in terms of points, and I think they gave up around 60. And offensively, I thought we did some really good things, but like I told the team, boiled down to two things. We had 13 turnovers, turned it over 20% of our possessions, and it wasn't all game, but we had a cluster there late. In the final 5 minutes where we needed to get shots, and I thought we had one. John tried to squeeze a pass in. We had one where Cam got a bump on a back down and got the ball knocked out, and then we had obviously one where Calix caught over the top, and that was a bang play down there. But 3 turnovers in a 4 possession stretch, and then our inability to guard the 3-point line, and that's been a a reoccurring issue all year. Guys just not not understanding. I guess there's a couple of ways you give up threes, and you can really you're not going to eliminate percentages, but you can limit attempts. And from transition to overhelping to being flat in your triangle to having a stick hand on every single catch, the variety of things you can do to limit those things, and we just haven't been able to apply that yet. We've certainly emphasized it, but obviously got to do a better job. But they hit 12 threes tonight on a team that generally is towards the bottom of the league in both makes and percentage.
Josh, you mentioned it. The turnovers, the 13. I mean, you guys have been worse, but it was a relatively low possession game, so those hurt a lot more. It's not a new story, but how frustrated are the players that they keep having to go through that? Obviously, I'm sure there's a level of frustration among the coaches. How do they put that in the right place? And it's late in the season, so it's
time's running out to fix it. It's been an issue, all year. I don't think it was an issue as bad early. It seems like it's been amplified in league play. Now, the last 2 games prior, I think we had 10 and 11. As you mentioned, this was a lower possession game, so I never look at. You look at the amount of turnovers, but what's more important is the percentage, right, of turnovers. And today it was 20%. So once every 5 possessions, we didn't get a shot. And in a game that comes down to a 4-point game, in a game that comes down to the final minute, if you turn that ball over 10 times, you probably win the game. I think there is frustration. Obviously, there's a difference between acknowledging a problem is probably half or 50% of fixing it, right? You have to acknowledge that a problem exists. So I think everybody acknowledges that there's a problem there. We have not been able to fix it, and again, it's not been one person. It's not been all game. Now certainly we have a couple guys that handle the ball a lot that have the majority of turnovers, but they seem to come in waves. It's like we'll have none for a period of time, and then we'll have like we did at Evansville. I think we finished the game with 14, but we had one stretch. We had 8 and 11 possessions in the first half. Then the rest of the game we were pretty good with it, and. We had 12 here in the first half against Evansville. Then we only had 3 in the second half. So I mean, there are these waves of them, and it's costly because we're playing in games that are competitive. I told the guys in there, I think this is, we've played 15 league games, and 13 of the 15 we've had the lead in the final 10 minutes. The only 2 times we haven't were at Bradley and home against Drake. We've had the lead 13 of 15 league games, final 10 minutes. Unfortunately, it's a 40-minute game, but these games generally come down the wire. It's not like we're not competitive, but no one's here to be competitive. You're here to win games, and to win games, you got to take better care of the ball. To win games, you got to defend the 3-point line better. To win games, you can't foul 3-point shooters. We did that twice today. You have to be more solid. To win games, you can't. We gave up. I thought our zone actually was effective. It really, and I would have stayed there longer, except for the fact that you know, the last 3 shots they missed, they got the offensive rebound. And part of that was, you know, Calix is gassed, and I was trying to get him out, but then I was also, there was a media timeout coming, but the under 8 media never came till like 5 minutes to go because there was just not a stop and play, and so you're gambling there, and obviously, you know, if I could, you know, redo it, hindsight 2020, I would have got him out with 9 minutes to go, and gotten him a blow there, but we gave up 6 points on O boards there, and then, you know, you have to value the ball, and those turnovers at the end, you know, are killers, because I did think when we got shots, we scored. I mean, we shot, you know, 53% from the field. We shot 86% from the foul line. I mean, those, you know, we didn't get many threes off, but you're not going to get many threes off the way Southern Illinois plays. They, you know, you have to take what the defense gives you, and they have really good individual defenders. We tried to attack the matchups we thought that were favorable for us, and we did that. But across the board, they defend really well, and they don't help. And they don't feel like they need to, and so you're going to have a very limited amount of 3-point attempts against them. What you do got to do is get the rim and finish those plays. I thought we did a great job of that, but you know, we turned that ball over 10 times. You know, I feel like we win the game, and so that's frustrating everybody. But ultimately, being frustrated about it, you know, are we going to fix it is the question. And to this point, we haven't. I mean, it's not for lack of emphasis or discussion points. You know, we go through each turnover, we try to show the guys individually, collectively, but, you know, that same scenario, we run a play late, and Julian, you know, slipped a screen, and he wasn't really open, and we try to thread the needle there, and the ball gets deflected, and it's a jump ball, and it's a turnover. And it wasn't there, you know, you just got to live to fight another day. We ran it, you know, wasn't quite there. Then you just move the ball, hit a single, and you just keep playing, and you try to generate something else, or you can try to thread the needle, hit the grand slam home run, and you know, but you know, but then it's a turnover. So I've not been able to you know, to obviously get through and for guys to apply that yet, but at some point we will, or run out of time.
As far as the 3-point defense is concerned, the danger of SIU is that both Jones and Domas, certainly Jones, less so Domas, although he can do it, is that they can do both.
Right.
And they were getting downhill, especially Jones was getting downhill.
Mm-hmm.
And how does that, the overhelping that you're talking about, how does this team counter that? Because that was probably true on the corner foul on D'Amico, but how does the team kind of get the discipline to do what they need to do? Because obviously those guys can score if they're in a one-on-one situation.
Well, the key to, you know, threes come from certain things, right? Like they're generated by, you know, something. Usually transition and offensive rebound are great ways to generate threes, right? In the half court, they're generally generated on some sort of rim threat, right? Penetration. We've struggled all year to read drives. Like there's a cognitive aspect to defense where, you know, you have to understand, you know, is the person beat? If they are, you know, then what are we doing, right? And sometimes guys can have a guy on his hip, and you know, there's a difference between, we call that a wall up, where the primary defender will jump and contest the shot himself, and yeah, he may have a slight angle, but that guy's got to make a shot going full speed over the top of defense. You know, and I think we struggle to read that sometimes. Sometimes we overhelp. I thought some of our threes today were just, you know, Domas in the post, we're ball watching and staring, and he whips it baseline and skips it opposite for 3. The last 3 threes they made, I remember Jones made a tough one. That was tough. He made it falling down. That was a great contest. We go up. That was 63-61. They go up 64-63. We're up 66-64. Domas throws it corner. He's in the post. He's under the basket. They did kind of hammer Coop in, like try to hammer screen him in. He was ball watching. He got hit, and he gave it up with 3. And the last one, Jabo, is the other way, is, you know, being flat in your triangle, right? Like the ball's here, it's in the slot, it's not being driven. And Jabo's way too far in, and he's flat in his help. So they just literally, they didn't move the ball, they just literally threw it to the corner. And Jabo was so flat that when he went to close out, he was off balance, and D'Amico got a wide open 3. The first one, Jones, you just tip your cap, that's too good. The last 2, Coupettes, you know, where Domas is underneath the basket, there's no need to help. Stay attached, don't give up the 3. And the last one, D'Amico, you can't be flat in your triangle. You know, you got to be off and towards the ball and shrinking the floor, but reading it, and there's no drive, so there's no help, you know, and we have had struggles all year reading drives and understanding, you know, because in basketball, overhelping is as deadly as not helping. you can overhelp and give up open stuff. You know, we've had trouble applying the ability to read drives. Like SIU, there's really not a lot of reading. Is you drive, you're on your own. They're gonna, you know, you're gonna get there. They may bring late help, but that's why they don't give up threes. We don't want to be that extreme, but you got to be better at reading drives, and we just weren't tonight. We gave up some. Even Calix's one where Domas missed a three with 1 second on the shot clock. He got screened, he melted in the screen, and gave up a wide open three with 1 second on the shot clock. You know, those are unacceptable plays, and we've got to get, you know, we've got to do a better job of coaching them to, you know, to make less of those mental errors and understand better, you know, how to guard that, because that's been a reoccurring issue with the turnovers. Those have been the two things that have really all year have kind of been central and the reason why we've had our struggles.
Another story of no rest from this game, no time to dwell on it, with 2 more in the next 4 days, I guess. Is there any sense of this team, after the stretch you just got done with on Tuesday, is there any sense of, you know, been there, done that, or is that the way you hope it turns out? I mean,
I respect that. I think the guys in the locker room, they've fought all year. I mean, they've dealt with so much adversity and difficulties, and obviously it's less than ideal to be in the situation with, you know, because of COVID, where we're having to play another 4 games in 7 days and fly to Iowa tomorrow and, you know, play Monday, Wednesday, Saturday to finish a regular season. But they've fought all year. I mean, they've competed. It's really hard to do what they're doing, which is not get the results you want and show up every day and work your tail off and prepare. They're competing. You know, it's not. Our lack of success has nothing to do with them not, you know, being engaged or the effort. I mean, they're pouring everything they have into it. We just got to play smarter, and I think, you know, I feel like going in this stretch, I mean, they've done it all year. They just got to pick themselves back up. You know, we got to prepare as well as we can. It'll be a 1-day turnaround every game. The rest of the regular season will be a 1-day turnaround. We put a lot into this. We'll go back to work tomorrow. We'll try to learn and go back and, hey, look at our turnovers, look at some of the 3-point shots, look at some things executionally we think we can do better, some things we can do better defensively, and then, you know, we'll hop on that plane, land in Iowa, and then we got to turn the page to Drake and make sure we're getting those guys the rest they need and trying to make sure we're as ready as we can. Tuesday night, Drake's one team that, you know, obviously here, then we had some circumstances out. Mike Henry lost Henry in the first half, and Jumbo fell out, but, you know, that was our worst loss in conference play, and so, you know, it's going to be a tough trip, but I you know, believe in that locker room, and I know they're going to come out and fight, prepare, and we'll be ready to go when the ball's tipped up on Tuesday night for sure.
Coach, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Todd, go ahead. Question?
Cooper, familiar problems in this one, turnovers. They scored 18 off of them, and things just didn't go right in the last couple of minutes. Some of them not your guys' fault, shots, that kind of thing. But just try to describe the level of frustration about that, because it's something that has happened before.
Yeah, you know, it sucks to lose any game that you play in. You know, but a good lesson that I learned pretty quick is you got to be even-headed and just get to the next one and focus on the next one. You know, watch film and learn from them. But obviously, you know, they stuck some tough shots. They've got great players, and Marcus and Lance, and, you know, Ben shot lights out tonight. So I mean, they had you know, 1 through 5 on the floor making plays for them, and it just so happened that we just a lot of mental errors. You know, helping off too much. You know, players getting open shots. You know, so I mean, just little things. I think we fix those, and like I said, you know, that's where you turn this game from, you know, it being a high 70s to low 60s, and we end up winning. So, but it's just the little things. You know, Coach, I think, said it best in the locker room. You know, one of these days we're going to have to apply, you know, what they're telling us and what they're teaching us, and when we do apply it, we're pretty darn good. So,
Kalex, they shot 48% in the second half, which isn't good, but it came in bunches. I mean, you guys actually were doing a pretty good job of them early in the second half. What did SIU do to try to, you know, to get on a roll offensively, because they never really got out of a roll once they did?
I mean, I think, you know, a lot of it, you know, they got some offensive rebounds, you know, easy putbacks. They got some great looks off some of the actions. I think when they're zone, they put back a tough 3. They got them on the hammer screen, kind of late in the game, you know, so I think we overhelped them a lot, which gave up a lot of open shots, which caused the percentage to be a lot higher than what we wanted. So I think that's what
There isn't a whole lot of time to really process this when you guys play again in 2 days. By now, are you guys, first of all, the load of these games, are you guys getting to any level of being used to it? Do you get used to the games coming so fast? Because you guys obviously just finished a cycle like this. Is there anything that prepared you for this stretch you have coming up?
Yeah, just our daily practice, routine. We're practicing getting up and down almost every single day that we are practicing and, taking advantage of the off days that we do getting our bodies right. So, I mean, there shouldn't be a whole lot of, complaints from us about, games being every other day or whatever it is. We've been doing this our whole lives and, we put ourselves in positions to be in shape and be on the floor, as long as we possibly can to stay out there to help our team. So, when it comes to that, it's just our daily habits and our daily routine and practice. I think translates over to our conditioning and our games. So we go from one to the other. Obviously, like you said, it's tough to transition from the loss when you play 2 games. But I know a lot of guys in the locker room will be professional. And that's what you got to learn to do. In these 2-day spans, we got games every other day. So.
Any thoughts, Killings?
Coop here, I just say something about Con and Karen. They do a great job with us, making sure our bodies feeling good and stuff. Because seasons are long, especially with these. I think it's like 3 games, 7 days, or something like that. But yeah, they do a great job with us, like regular weekends, massages, keeping our body right for us to be able to play these kind of games. Because we got some guys, we can play a ton of minutes, and going from one game to another game. It would be tough on the body, so they do a great job with us. But like Coop said, our practices, we practice hard, we go hard, and then next thing you know, we play the game, and then it's time to flip the script on to the next. So we got Drake here on Monday, fly out Sunday tomorrow, so goes on to the next.
Are you guys of the mind, do you like to come back and play quick after a loss? Is that kind of the mentality?
Yeah, I think it helps, especially our team in the position that we're at, towards the bottom of the league right now. Just being able to get that loss out of our head and try to focus on the next one, and that's it's all you can do right now. And, all we can try to do right now is just win as many as we can out of our last 3 or 4 that we've got, and try to make a hell of a run and a march down here in St. Louis. So first and foremost, it's got to be next game. It's learn from what we did tonight, watch film, go over it, watch what you can do different, and come back tomorrow and you're ready to practice, you're ready to go, you're ready to travel, and your focus is on the Drake. I think that kind of transitions us and helps us out, kind of throwing this bad taste out. So.
Yeah, I think that, I just want to say credit to the guys because, a lot of teams, could be, bottom of the league, also whatever. Some teams just hang it up. But I think our team, definitely fight and show some resilience. We're not just out here just laying down, even though we're part of the league. So, salute to those guys, just coming ready to play every single game that we have. So.
The fight has been there. Does that make it all the more frustrating that the W's aren't there with it?
I would say so, but we just gotta. The fight is there, but we gotta limit the things that sometimes can hurt us, like the turnovers. I think that's our biggest thing. Other than the turnovers, we're gonna guard, we're gonna score points, whatever the case may be. But I just think that when you got guys that's really landing out there, the W's not coming with it. You gotta sit back and think okay, we're only losing by a small margin. It's not how we get blown out. So you just gotta sit back and think what is it that what we're doing wrong? We turnovers. It's simple as that. Like Coach Coop said it, Coach said it. Once we start to apply that, we can be really good. So.
Coop, you did go over the 1,000-point mark. I'm sure you would have wished it was in a win, obviously, but what does that mean to you?
This town has meant, the city's meant, quite a bit to me. I've had a lot of people, be at my side, be on my back, and just support me from day one. Being close to home, even having some family and friends, just come to every game since I was a freshman. Through the highs and the lows. Just being able to hit another milestone in my basketball career. It's fun. I can say that at least, but it does suck, you know, in a loss. So, you know, you look to it. There's a lot of history in this place, and you know, a lot of players, you know, that did hit the 1,000-point mark so far in front of me, and you know, I'm just honored and blessed to be a part of, you know, that elite group there too. So, you know, I'm appreciative. You know, I wouldn't be there without my teammates. So, you know, they're first and foremost for who, you know, I care about the most, and trying to win games. So, other than that, yeah, it means a lot to me. But you know, like I said, I'd rather win wins.
Gentlemen, thank you.
Thanks, guys.